Hi, I'm Trent Cotton. Welcome to my speakeasy. So as the Vice President of Talent and Culture at hireEZ, I get the fun part of HR. So everything from talent development to talent acquisition, performance coaching, and really kind of helping with the overall strategy for how are we going to continue to grow with the best talent in the market. So hireEZ is our secret weapon. We use it to develop talent insights to help us create our recruiting strategy and also advise our clients. We also use it to nurture, to identify, and most importantly, execute on a flawless talent program. So if you're interested, join me in my office. Let's check it out. All right, so welcome to my office. Let's dig into hireEZ. I'm going to start with just the very first step, which is meeting with the client and how I use the tool to make me look smart. All right, let's look at it. So I am going to go into just a general sourcing. Whenever I talk to other leaders or recruiters who use the tool, this is like a gold mine that they just skip right over, because most of the time recruiters, they just want to jump right into the search. But if you want to be a consultant, you really need to start here. All right, so let's use an example. I want a full stack engineer. And one thing I love about hireEZ is it gives me all kinds of different variations of the title, which is good for me because I'm not really a tech person. I recruit tech. I love tech because it makes me lazy and look efficient. But I don't know the difference between an engineer, a developer, whatever. And so that's one of the things that I love about the platform. So I'm just going to just pick two just to kind of make it easy. And if you do not have a saved list of locations, then you are truly making a lot of work for yourself. So I've got one that is 7 states in the Northeast. Let's just look at what that is. And then for skills, we'll do Node.js. And again, notice that based off of the job title, it's giving me some recommended skills, which again, I love technology. It enables me to be lazy and look smart. So that's why I love hireEZ. Let's just say they want to do React Native on the front end. So whenever I'm meeting with a client, I'm actually sharing my screen because I want them to be able to see that right now we have 3,400 candidates in these 7 states that I've selected. For experience, let's say they want a candidate who has got, and I'm going to do this on purpose, let's say 15 years or more of experience. So I could not have planned that any better. It went from 3,400 to 340. And the reason I like to do that is because when the clients start adding all of these crazy requirements, they're able to see the impact on the job pool. And for me, that is a way that I can leverage data through the platform to be able to consult them and say, okay, do you really need 15 years? Can we do 10 years? So let's just see if there's a difference in backing it down by 10 years. And yeah, it 3 times the number of candidates. All right, so I don't think React is that new, so let's just back it down to 5 years. I'm also going to look at years in current role. We all have clients that go, I don't want anyone that is bounced around in a while. So I can look at 2 to 4 years, I can look at 4 to 6 years. And if you use your insights, you'll actually be able to see how often people change their jobs, and then you can come back in and alter your search, but we'll do that a little bit later. So let's say I want a senior, okay? So I should have a pretty decent list, about 2,100 candidates. And this is where recruiters just jump in. They start doing the mass emails, trying to identify who's good, who's not. And for me, you're missing this wonderful little gold mine that they finally put right into the search, all right? So I'm sitting with the client, going through the job. We agree on the preliminary job description components, like the meat, right? I'm going to go in and show them the analytics, all right? So the top portion, for me, the top titles, that's not really something I share with the client. I mean, I show it to them, but I don't really get into it. That's more for my benefit, because if I start seeing that, instead of full stack developer, it's full stack engineer has got the bulk of the job titles, then maybe I need to go and change my search to look at senior full stack engineer. We can see the top skills, the top companies, past companies, the top industries. And what I like is I can double click into this. So if I want to look at people that are just in financial services, let's say that's one of the requirements that they wanted, but I got them to take it out. They can see that out of these 2,100 candidates, roughly 400 are in financial services. So it shows the contraction in the pool just based off of the industry. The top locations. So this is important. I used this whenever I was working for a major financial institution. We were trying to figure out where do our tech hubs need to be? And I went right into insights and said, okay, it makes sense for us to do Charlotte, which of course you have several banks that are located and home bases in Charlotte, Philadelphia. I don't even know where that is in Georgia, but that's interesting. So I'm able to give some advice and look, here are the top 3 markets based on what the data is telling me of the most qualified people based on the job description that we agreed to. But here is what I love, all right? So you get these managers that say, I want to pay $110,000. That is my absolute max for a senior full stack developer that's got React and Node, and they've got 5-8 years of experience. If you're in tech, you are kind of laughing on the inside going, you're an idiot, right? I like to use data to prove that people are really, really off base. And if you look at this, you can see that the bell curve is anywhere between 150 and 170. I don't have to say anything. A lot of times I just kind of go, and here's the salary information. And they're able to have this aha and say, okay, well, that's not going to work for us. Then I can change the conversation and say, all right, do you really need a senior? Do you really need 8 years? Let's see if we can play around with some of these search terms to make the search within your budget, but also not giving me golden handcuffs. And then diversity is another huge thing, especially for me. I'm very passionate about DEI. So I always want to look at how diverse is the pool, because I'm going to use that analytic metric to be able to judge whenever the recruiters are actually recruiting. They go, we can't find any women. Well, makes sense. You know, only 11% of the 2,100 people are women. What do we need to do to make ourselves more attractive to the female tech talent? Or are there different tactics that we need to take for an underrepresented group than what we do for the majority? So that, for me, you know, there's all kinds of other really cool stuff in here. But if you're working for like a large organization, you're responsible for talent strategy. This top schools and top degrees is something that I would encourage you to look at, all right? So we'll kind of stay in this line of thought with full stack. If I want to develop kind of a junior or an associate program, and I already know that for the seniors, I'm looking for this skill set in these particular cities, this is just gold, because now I can go and focus on the universities that produce most of that talent, and I can look at the degrees, I can look at the concentration. So for the college recruiters that I managed, this is where we spend a lot of our time, because it was like, all right, I want you to focus on UTD, I want you to focus on University of Houston, and I want you to focus on the University of North Carolina. And I want you to go into the computer and science and engineering, and I want you to be best friends with the deans of that college. And that, once we started really honing in on that, our college program took off, because again, we're leveraging data. So whenever I'm meeting with recruiters and they just jump right into the search, I'm like, whoa, you're missing out on like one of the best pieces that make you a talent advisor versus a reactive, put a cheek in the seat recruiter. So these are our talent pools. These are the ones that I am absolutely obsessed with, all right? I go in and look at these and measure it every week, where's our progress, because this enables us to move quicker and be able to place people quicker. We get paid whenever we have people working on projects, and if we get a job today and it takes us 60 days to be able to get it filled, and that's 60 days worth of revenue that we've missed. So there's a definite business impact in making sure that we keep our talent pools active. So I'm going to pick one that I know that we've had for a while. It's our full stack nearshore. You can see, you know, we kind of adapted our hiring process. So, you know, unlike other CRMs that are like, this is what you have to do. I like how hireEZ says, just create your own, you know, and you can call it what you want. We line this up with our applicant tracking system. So that way the two of them can kind of be speaking the same terms. And if you're not integrated with your applicant tracking system in hireEZ, that's something else that you find the money, like steal it from someone, get it done, because what they're able to do takes your applicant tracking system from meh to, oh, this is actually usable. All right, so just a little plug for that. All right, so I'm going to get in here and I'm going to look at where are we in the process. So you can see for us, we've got 59 full stack candidates that what we call client ready, meaning they have been through our 4-step process, our assessment process, and our hiring managers within engineering gave a thumbs up on this candidate. Now, when we get a role that's in full stack, this is what I love too. So this is a pretty active pool, but let's say I need someone who has, let's see, 6 to 8, and we'll do 8 to 10 years. I'll just do React because I know what React is. So if that's really kind of the big qualifiers, I know that in this pool, I have 8 who are client ready. All right. So I can also go in and say, well, let's look at 4 to 6 years. How does that change it? Well, it adds 4 more to it. Right from here, I can click, I can engage, I can send them a note. You know, we've got a template that says, hey, we've got a new project, just like I promised. There's a little part where the recruiter can go in and paste just some very high level project things. And then we put in there, are you interested, yes or no? I love this because we're able to move quicker. You know, these are people that we've already engaged. We've been nurturing them. We've got a nurture campaign where it's, you know, we send them a newsletter once a month. That's everything from, here's what's going on in the job market. Here's some of the projects that we're working on. Here's latest video of our CEO going to MIT and learning about AI. Or even something funny. You know, there's been a couple of times where we dressed in costumes, whatever, and did something kind of crazy, stupid. But guess what? The reply rate was really, really high. So we've been nurturing these candidates throughout the process. Now, this is the execution. This is where we really put the gas, put the pedal to the metal. And once we have those feedback, we're able to say, okay, hey, hiring manager, why don't you pick up the phone? Let's schedule a 30-minute meeting so you can go a little bit more in depth in the project, and then negotiate the offer and the person starts. I can also go in and see for candidates that declined, why did they decline? You know, was it based on years of service or years of experience? Was it particular skill sets? Again, this is a wealth of information that a lot of people just pass over. And then if I want to look at, we have one that's called We're Not Interested. You know, maybe it was they were disqualified or didn't really pass the interview process. If I want to, I can get in here and try to figure out, okay, are the hiring managers being a little too picky? Also for me, very personal and kind of a passion for me, I always want to look at diversity. If I start seeing a ton of women or a ton of underrepresented groups in here, then I'm going to get with the recruiter, I'm going to get with the hiring manager and say, let's level set, because I'm starting to see a pattern here that I don't like. All right, so that is our talent pools. The campaigns is just unreal, especially with some of the recent updates of how many were open, the click-through, the reply is like right there. And I can even look at it by project. So, you know, if I'm looking at full stack, which campaigns are our most successful? You know, those are the ones that I want to make sure that the recruiters know about and that we use, but also we continue to iterate. You know, how can we make it better? This is good, but how can we make it better? All right, so I'm in one of our tech sequences, and we've got 359 recipients, so that's how many went out. There were no bounce backs, which is good. That means that, you know, for me, I get to say, all right, I feel really, really good about the information that hireEZ is giving me. 75% of those that got an email opened it. That's unbelievable. That means this recruiter, Jessica, which I'm not surprised, she's our DevOps queen, does not surprise me that she has zeroed in on what is going to get a DevOps candidate to open that email. We also see a click-through rate. So, you know, we can go in and look in this campaign and say, all right, how many links did we have? You know, if we had 4 and they only click through 17%, maybe we limit it to 1. Let's run that test again and see if there are too many links or too few links. And then 20% replied, and only 1% bounce back. So those are incredible, incredible statistics, not just for the recruiter, but also for the platform. You know, this is why I spend so much money on hireEZ, because 1% bounce back, and we got 75% that open the email. I don't know another system that does that. Your ATS doesn't do that, and if it does, it probably doesn't track it. hireEZ does that for you, right? So if you're not looking at and drilling down into the campaigns, again, whether you're a single producer recruiter or you're a recruiting leader, you're really missing out on the value and the analytics in the tool. Well, I hope you enjoyed my little tour of hireEZ and the speakEZ. I don't know about you, but most of the time whenever I hear speakEZ, it involves a drink. So after all of this today, that's exactly where I'm going. If you want to catch up with me, not at the speakEZ, you can catch me on trentcotton.com. Of course, you can follow me on LinkedIn and Twitter. I am always open to help anyone in the profession make their talent strategy better.